Y'all look chilly, all puffed up. Hey friends, what's up? It's Noelle with Baker's Backyard Bounty, and today I'm shooting from my new greenhouse. All right, so I'll explain this in a second, but how are you guys doing? It's really cold here and a little bit sad looking in the yard, in the garden. But also there is also some hope to be found. We have baby greens coming in and Brussels sprouts. So that cold weather stuff is really getting a good test. We did stay in denial longer than most of you and try to keep our tomatoes warm. Some of them were so close to ripening, but it doesn't look like it's gonna get any warmer. And so last night I bundled up and I took off all the blankets and the towels. Yeah, we really went for it, and harvested all the green tomatoes. So we'll talk about that too. The last little video I posted was one that was personal, and I love personal things because it helps us to actually get to know one another. But thank you to everyone who reached out or shared their own journey with food, and I'm just so grateful. Let me close the low battery. I'm just so grateful that we can connect in this way now. As I was driving, I was thinking about that, like how cool it is to have a community that we can access from anywhere in the world, and just know that we're not alone. So thank you. All right, this greenhouse. So it came at the perfect time before spring. I have driven past this greenhouse on the road to Rockwall, to my mom's house, probably 80 bajillion times. And I've always admired it. I love the style, the size, the shape of it. But I knew it was probably going to be redone soon and that someone else loved it just as much, which the homeowner did. I ended up writing a letter. I've driven past it for, oh my gosh, over a year now, talking to my husband about it every time we pass it. And I finally got brave enough to write a letter, mailed it to their house, made it as chipper and cheery. It was full of flowers, all the things. And just asked them if they ever wanted to give it a new home. We would love to love on it. And so she reached out, this is last past week, reached out and said that that letter was the catalyst for her to make the decision to let it go, and she'd love for us to give it a good home. So yesterday, Reed and our best buddy Rico loaded this bad boy up, drove it down the road, panels were flying. It's big, it is really big to just plop on a trailer. But I can't wait to dream and scheme of what this thing is gonna look like soon. I'm walking through here, look at this. We are in plant denial. See, these tomatoes were just too close. So I'm storing them in my garage. So I remember when I went to Lowe's and bought this grow light, and it was a big deal to me. I was so excited. I bought a little grow light. It was definitely the wrong shape and size on Amazon, but that was really exciting to me too. And then I upgraded to this bad boy, and I was so excited and grateful, and I still am. And now I have this greenhouse, and it's like I never want to forget the joy of something new and starting out, and never take it for granted, because every step along the way has been so fun, so much growth, so much to learn. So just because I have this giant greenhouse now, I still honor and love this grow light that made me so happy not that long ago. All right, so I have so many green tomatoes, probably like you guys. I have this basket full, na-na-na, and this giant bowl full, na-na-na. So I'm gonna be making some green tomato things. Now, we love a good fried green tomato. This is true. But if I'm thinking about food storage and wanting to get the most bang for our buck, fried green tomatoes are a fun treat. I'm sure we're gonna do some of those, but I really wanna have some green salsa. I also froze the tomatillos that we harvested this year. We have jalapenos, all these green tomatoes. I wanna make some green salsa that I can put on pork enchiladas or as a warm dipping sauce. Also going to be making some of this. This is my library book, America's Test Kitchen, Foolproof Preserving. Some tomato chutney. Now, I'm gonna make just some small jars of this because it's not really a staple, it's more of a fun food, but you can put it on grilled cheese, which I I feel like all my videos are about putting stuff on grilled cheese. Pesto, green tomato chutney. It's a little sweeter. You can use it as like a dill relish on like hot dogs. Leftover pumpkins from Halloween. And on Instagram I asked, should I like make puree or just kind of feed these to the chickens and go watch my show? And 70-something% said go watch a show. But y'all know I can't sleep on these pumpkins. This is so much good food right here. So I am making some pumpkin puree. It's from, I think, the website Olga in the Kitchen. I'm gonna can these, but with pumpkin, I think because of the acidity level, like canning it to put in the pantry is not ideal. So I'm gonna put it in jars that will hopefully seal, but then put them in the fridge just as like a backup to make sure that they stay nice and fresh. But I'm not worried about it because these will be made into pumpkin muffins really soon, pumpkin pies hopefully. So it's not gonna hang around for long. In my hand, thank you. So if the girls don't go to bed on time, they get to stay up and help me do the things that mama needs to do before bed. So tonight we were putting dried mint and dried basil in the jars, which Zoe loved to smell them, and she helped me immensely. Now we have this dried loofah, so we're trying to get all the seeds out. They shake out, it's pretty fun, right? Can you do it? You show them your seed? You do a good job. What a big helper. Did you get one? Almost. Keep trying. You've done really good so far. One of the cool things about doing this is, I mean, I don't know, be watching Netflix or be in bed or whatever. Good job. But they are watching me and they know that we can eat pumpkins. And they know that we can dry herbs and what they smell like. They love to go through the garden and smell things. They know that loofah comes from a squash. So these are things that are kind of just like priceless in the grand scheme of it. You're doing good. Okay, go for it. So, you try that? Stick it in there. All right, you guys, so it is the next day and my babies are asleep. The house is calm and quiet. And so now I have to figure out what to do with all of these, and I have some on my countertops as well. What happened is with the freeze, like I mentioned, I ran out at night, grabbed them all, and just stuck them in a bowl. Well, some of them had already frozen, the tomatoes, and so when they were thawing out, I had them in a big metal bowl that didn't have holes to breathe, and so some of them started molding. So just know that if you have green tomatoes, especially if you get them after a cold snap, just be sure to process them quickly or else they'll all just go to mush and mold. So, and this was probably like 2-3 days ago, so it's happened pretty quickly. So what I have done here is I've measured out about 2.5 pounds of tomatoes. It's the leaning tower of tomatoes over there. And I'm gonna use those to make my tomato chutney. And these are the tomatoes that kind of have like cat facing on them. They're wonky, some of them have just some cracks and holes. So I'm gonna be really watching these for worms. We had a few worms pop out at us when Reed and I were going through and sorting all the tomatoes, so that was really fun. But I'm gonna start with the chutney first because it has to simmer for about 1 hour 15. Oh yeah, can you see this freeloader? You want that in your little grilled cheese chutney? I don't think so. He's being camera shy. Okay, so now I have all these green tomatoes ready to go. They are cored and chopped into small pieces. I'm gonna add in sugar, coriander, some red pepper flakes, I think I said sugar, white vinegar, and some lemon juice, and just let it kind of simmer for about an hour till it breaks down into more like a jam. So it's super simple. You throw it all in the pot except the lemon juice. You wait until it's done off the heat after that hour to add in the lemon juice before you put it into your jars, which you can then process and can for long-term storage, or just put them in the fridge and it'll be good for quite a while. So it's super simple. You throw it all in the pot except the lemon juice. You wait until it's done off the heat after that hour to add in the lemon juice before you put it into your jars, which you can then process and can for long-term storage, or just put them in the fridge and it'll be good for quite a while. While my chutney is coagulating, I think that might be the word, congealing, I'm gonna start on the green salsa. So I have these jars here that I'm gonna wash in soapy water with my lids and rims, and I've turned my oven on to about like 200, 215. Once I wash these, I'm gonna pop them in the oven upside down on the rack. What that does is it heats up the jar and also helps it dry. So the jars will be hot. When I take them out with my oven mitt, I'll put the hot liquid in, seal them really tight, and it'll create a seal. That's what I did with my pumpkin. And I think all 5 of my pumpkins ended up that little click where it's sealed. And you know it's sealed if when you push on the middle, it doesn't pop up and down the metal lid. If it stays put, doesn't bounce up and down, then you've got a good seal. I'm not going to water bath can these for long-term storage because we are making enchiladas this week. We eat a ton of salsa, a ton of quesadillas, a ton of tacos. We're big fans. So we're actually gonna go through this pretty fast. Like, I don't expect this by any means to last us until through the spring till next summer. So with that in mind, I'm not gonna spend my time tonight canning it in that way, but I am gonna go ahead and heat the jars, pour the hot liquid in, and just see if it creates a seal. So green salsa is really simple. Salsa in general is really simple. You kind of can't get it wrong. So I have cilantro here, the rest of the garden jalapenos that we have left. So it's probably like 10 small jalapenos. The recipe calls for 7 cups. I don't even know how much this will be all chopped up. And then the onions that we grew this year, I have 4 red. You can use 2 large, but ours are pretty small, so I'm using 4 red onions. And lemon juice. I'm gonna heat it all up. Some people like to roast their vegetables in the oven on like a baking sheet for like a more, I don't know, like smoky roasted flavor salsa. But I'm just gonna go ahead and put these all in the pot and let them come to a boil, simmer for just like 5 minutes, and then pour them into my jars. But before I pour them into the jars, the tool that I use the most in my kitchen is this bad boy. We got it for our wedding. It is an immersion blender, and it's easy to clean, easy to get in and out of the cabinet, unlike my big little Ninja. And so once it's all heated up, I'm gonna pop this in the pot, blend it up, because I really don't like chunky salsa. We want more of like a creamy, I don't know, how would you describe it? Non-chunky salsa. Thin, okay, I'll just say, I don't know. We just don't want the chunks in our salsa, okay, that's it. So I'm gonna be using this bad boy just to smooth it out. So with a good salsa, there is a lot of chopping involved. And to keep myself from getting sleepy, I'm gonna chit chat for a little bit. So I was thinking about, you know, when I was doing the pumpkins, when I was like, why can't I just let these pumpkins go? Like, why can I not just throw them away? And why can't I be a normal person? That's kind of my thoughts. And I was being kind of hard on myself. But what I realized is I am an artist, and I've always been really creative and studied art in undergrad. And what I've realized is, like, I no longer really honestly sit down and paint or work with clay like I love to. That's just not something that fits into my life right now, and I know that it'll come back to me. But really what I'm doing is trying to turn my life into art. Like, every day holds awe and wonder and beauty And I like living that way because it gives me joy. I am not always happy because happiness comes and goes, but I do have joy, and I'm really just so grateful for so many things. And by homesteading, I get to have awe and wonder at all the colors that come out with the green tomatoes, and awe and wonder and pride at the food that I can provide for my family that is like just quality and tastes so good and fresh and local because it's our backyard. And so just something to consider, like turning your life into art really is it's not that hard, and it doesn't take a ton of money, and it doesn't take a ton of time really to just appreciate the small things. So that's why I can't be just a normal person and throw away the pumpkins. Although if you throw away your pumpkins, there's no judgment, because that's okay too. And one of the ways that I'm teaching my girls to have awe and wonder as a characteristic, a character trait, is by cooking with me. And I make them smell all the things. Like tonight we made mushroom meatballs, and we smelled the herbs that we had grown and dehydrated, and they liked that. And then we smelled the garlic, and Zoe goes, I know like that. And the onion, and we really get our hands messy. We feel the mushrooms coming together with the egg, and I don't know, like I really hope that they have an appreciation, which maybe it'll just be their normal life to them, which that's fine too, but an appreciation for just the small things, like the smells while we cook. And those moments bring me a lot of joy and awe and wonder. Voila. That is a lot of chopping in there. The beautiful part is if you're going to use your immersion blender in there to make it a fine salsa, you really don't have to worry about how it's chopped because it's all gonna get blended anyways. So it's kind of a lazy way to just get everything thrown in there. All right, salsa's done. Pretty easy. I'm gonna show you guys. Look at that beautiful color. Okay, but it has to pass the chip test. So I'm gonna sample some and see if we need more lemon juice, salt, whatever. All right, it's good to go. So now I'm gonna get my jars out of the oven and start ladling this hot salsa into the jars. I think I might have underestimated how many jars I need. It's a lot of salsa. All right, y'all, so I have a couple more jars heating up in the oven. I'm gonna pop the chutney and the rest of the salsa in there, but here she blows. I'm pretty happy with it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight, and may you find the bounty in your own life, all the beauty that it holds, and we'll see you soon.